So we are all being exposed to a huge array of COVID-19 information on a daily basis through mechanisms such as social media, word of mouth, and podcasts. And not all of this information is reliable. The constant supply of global information can be overwhelming and actually limit an individual's willingness or capacity to filter reliable sources. So this was our problem statement that we were working with, and we wanted to help reduce the intake of false information.
The first round of testing consisted of two concepts, two strong ideas with room to improve and identify gaps. The aim of this round was to eliminate one concept to finest and resolve the final concept idea. In identifying the final two concepts, it was important to ensure both ideas were feasible and able to realistically be developed as a high-fidelity working prototype. Both were successfully developed to facilitate preliminary concept testing. Concept 1. Physical distancing scenarios. A platform users would use to course information about physical distancing. The user would be directed through each of the 6 physical distancing rules recommended by New South Wales government, with the primary goal of simply informing users about the correct and current practices. After they completed the first stage, they would move on to the second stage of the application. Stage 2 tested the users on what they had just learned by applying their knowledge to a range of scenarios, having to select the correct answer, and would see the result at the end.
So as a result of all of our user testing, we ended up choosing the myth-busting COVID-19 trivia app. And this concept aims to address the issue of misinformation through challenging and testing participants to carefully think about the information they are presented with and appropriately decipher whether these facts are true or false. All questions have been sourced from the official Myth-Busting World Health Organization's website, in combination with tweets or news headlines from reliable external web sources and articles. This concept was superior as it was a more effective solution to addressing misinformation in the current state of the internet. The application interaction mimics a commonly used and familiar application on the market, the app Tinder, an action that most people are very familiar with, the left and right, to be correct or incorrect. And it also works very nicely on the desktop. So we went through various stages of testing, and we had 6 iterations in total. And we also tested some key interactions with the swipe left, swipe right, because we found that this was the most important aspect of the app, and making it quite intuitive rather than having to be like swipe left, swipe right. So we wanted to come up with a very self-explanatory movement and animation to help with that.
The main library we choose to use is React.js. React.js is a component-based UI design library. It is covered with great array of UI design tools in the form of libraries. First library we have used from React.js called React Rota. React Rota is a library allowing us to switch between pages and pass arguments between pages. Second library we decide to use called Reacting the Code, which allows us to monitor user swipe action as well as animating these actions. Another library we consider to use called Material UI. This library provides us with a large range of icons and many other CSS designs. To handle our backend information and data API, we decide to use Google Firebase. This cloud system provided by Google allows us to transfer API data from and to the website, as well as developing our application into its servers. And finally, we decide to use D3.js to plot our graphs and use our data.